Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is Charles with the latest edition of Charles Snyder Raw, which is unscripted, unedited, unplanned, unfiltered, and all that other fun stuff. Couple quick notes. Today, almost have the 1 minute marketing tip for this week finished. I got the script written last night. I got the audio recorded. I got about half of the editing done. I have to finish that up, get that uploaded. Once I have that finished up, then I can get it uploaded and write the article, get that posted on the website and stuff like that. So I should have that done today. Keeping the fingers crossed. There's been a couple distractions, and again, it's my fault. But anyway, reaching back into the Quora mailbag even after this weekend's fail, where I went through and I did just like 15 or 16 questions that I answered real in quick succession. When I went to post the answers on Quora, one of the D-bag moderators just deleted them all. No explanation, can't get an explanation from them. But I answered a whole bunch of questions. Maybe it was because I answered too many and posted in quick succession and all. I don't know. There wasn't any explanation, so I don't know what happened. The article and the video is on our web agency website, so if you're missing that, check that out. And but that's what happened with that. Anyway, today's question actually came to us last week, and it was actually prompted to us by Quora, but the question is asked by Laura. Wants to know, how can I increase the effective traffic of my website? Well, let's take a look at that. Effective traffic to a website is based on, number one, knowing your audience. Who is your ideal customer? And one of the answers, I scrolled down through the answers here real quick, but the one answer that really stands out, and I hate to rehash stuff, but Justin gave you basically the same answer that I'm going to give you as well. But I'm going to break it down a little bit more in detail than what he has in his answer, which is you need to define your audience. Who is your ideal customer? Create an avatar based on who your ideal customer is. You have to know that first. If you don't know who your ideal customer is, how can you possibly speak to that customer in a way that is going to be relevant or resonates with that potential customer? And there are people out there, but you have to sit down and figure out what that is. Is it male? Is it female? Could be both. Figure out one for both. Next thing is, what's the typical age bracket? Are you aiming towards millennials, or are you targeting baby boomers, Gen Xers like myself? You need to define that. And then you have to add other aspects to that as well. Is your avatar or your persona, that's the way these people are actually referred to, that you're mapping out as a persona or an avatar of your ideal customer. Sometimes it needs to be both male and female, but then you have to define the age. Are they part of a certain generational aspect to them? What is their education level? What does that look like? Did they graduate high school? Do they have an associate's degree? Do they have a bachelor's degree? Master's? A doctorate? Are they an engineer, or are they, a social media justice warrior? You have to define what that avatar's educational level is. Other aspects of it is, do they own a home? Where do they live? Are they in the United States, or are they in another country? Are they in a certain state within the United States, or a province or locality, group of islands, whatever the case may be? That is part of defining your audience. And then now we get to the somewhat controversial part, is what's their ethnicity? You have to be, I don't want to say racist, but you have to define an avatar. What is if you don't say, you're not going to appeal to the right people. So, in other words, you talk to, and again, this is going to sound biased or racist, which it isn't, but you talk to a Caucasian differently than you talk to an Asian. And you talk differently to them, both of them, than what you do with someone of African American descent, as opposed to someone of Native American descent. There's different ways to talk to each one of those groups of people. Define it, put it in there. If there's, if it's multiple groups, define an avatar for each one of those ethnicities that you want to address. Sometimes it may matter what their religious leanings are, what their political leanings are, what are their demographics, what kind of jobs do they work, what kind of homes do they live in, what kind of cars do they drive. That's all different aspects of defining your customer persona or avatar of your ideal customer. Figure that out, and then think about the way that you need to talk to that person. Talking to say a 20-year-old millennial, single millennial, who is in college is a lot different than you talk to when you talk to, say, a veteran of Vietnam War who is a baby boomer, has a military background, went to war, may have certain issues associated with that. So that all plays into developing your ideal customer and the persona or the avatar of that person. Think about that first. Once you have that, then you communicate to that person on their level. If if your avatar only just graduated high school, you talk to that person a lot different than you talk to someone with, say, a master's or a PhD. You talk to an engineer a lot different than you talk to, say, a law enforcement officer, and you talk to both of them different than what you talk to, say, a waitress at a restaurant or something. There's different personas for each one of them people. There's different images that popped into your head when I mentioned those different kinds of people. That is the idea of creating a persona or an avatar. Figure out what that is. Learn how to, if you need to, learn how to speak to that persona and create content that does that. And then you will drive much more effective traffic to your website. And ideally, your website should have a blog, so make sure you're blogging to your ideal customers, those personas, those avatars. So I'm going to leave you with that. That pretty much does it for today, the Hump Day edition. And I'll be back again tomorrow. So if you found this useful, upvotes are always appreciated. Be sure to follow us here on Quora. Also, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on other social media. And we got more good stuff coming out. Hope this helped. Happy Hump Day. I'm out of here. Love, peace, and chicken grease.